To get ready for the Del Mar races that start tomorrow, work's been going on around the clock to transform the county fairgrounds into a paddock and a racetrack ready for the horses.
No, a little bit, yeah.
Josh Rubenstein, Chief Operating Officer of the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, says the venue is a key reason for the Del Mar racetrack's success.
We're very fortunate to have, this beautiful facility right next to the ocean. People want to come out here that aren't necessarily our core horse racing folks.
In fact, Del Mar is bucking the trend in the horse racing industry, which is on a slow and steady decline.
Hollywood Park closed its doors in 2014, so really the major racing in Southern California takes place at Del Mar and Santa Anita, and with that, Del Mar, we added a fall meet.
Do the dance goes in, and Sobradora Inc., the last one.
But the fall meet at Del Mar has eroded attendance at the summer meet.
Their revenues were down 4% under budget.
Fairgrounds board member David Watson says falling attendance at the races is a long-term trend.
In 2004, the attendance was about 733,000. And with the exception of one little minor blip, it's been steadily going down. And in 2016, the attendance was 534,000. Just a steady decrease in attendance since 2004.
Watson says revenue from the races no longer cover the full $3.3 million cost of annual bond payments on the grandstands, rebuilt in 1991 and recently upgraded. Fitch Rating Agency has not downgraded the bond rating, but analyst Scott Monroe says the racetrack revenues have fallen rapidly in the last 3 years.
What happened last year was racetrack net revenues fell down to $1 million. Prior to that, they had been $2.6 million, and on average, over the last 5 years, they were $5.5 million. So you can see this continued gradual decline in net racing revenues.
But while horse racing revenues have fallen, profits from selling food and drink at the races have gone up. The Thoroughbred Club is now using food and beverage sales, money that used to go to the fairgrounds, to cover the annual debt payment on the grandstands. When the Del Mar Fairgrounds opened in the 1930s, horse racing provided a lot of financial backing. Now, 80 years later, with horse racing on the decline, the fairgrounds are starting to support the races.
There's a smile on every face.
Josh Rubenstein does not believe subsidizing the racetrack with money that used to be part of the publicly owned fairgrounds budget is a problem.
I look at it a little differently. I look at it as, the food and beverage revenues help us, put on this world-class product that we have. We're fortunate there's a large segment of San Diego that loves coming to Del Mar, that enjoys horse racing.
Watson says this year's racing revenues will be higher because the Breeders' Cup, the Super Bowl of horse racing, is being held here for the first time this fall.
There will be a very positive economic benefit from the Breeders' Cup. The question is, how will that be sustained after 2017?
One of the reasons that people cite for falling attendance at the races is the number of horses that die on the racetrack. The Del Mar Thoroughbred Club has spent millions in the last few years to make sure that this racetrack is the best it can possibly be for the horses.
Everybody is on the same page that safety is the absolute #1 priority. So in terms of, getting resources, I mentioned $15 million we've spent since 2007. We spent another $1 million from the off season of last year, to this year in terms of renovating the main track, bringing in some additional consultants. So, we're very pleased with the effort, and we think when the horses are down here that jockeys, trainers, and the horses will really notice a difference. 17
horses died during the Del Mar races last year. Equine agriculture engineer Mick Peterson is co-founder of the Racing Surfaces Testing Laboratory.
We are just taking and bagging samples to go back to the laboratory to be tested.
Del Mar shortened the race meet this year and took an extra 5 days to make the transition between the county fair and the race meet, meticulously grading and reworking the dirt track so horses that train at Santa Anita will hardly notice the difference.
Our goal is to minimize the adaptation they have to make.
Okay, because they're still arriving like 5 days before the race begins, so they don't have a lot of time to adapt to this track.
That's right, but we're doing all our measurements are meant to make this track as similar to Santa Anita as possible. So we'll be going back to Santa Anita to make additional measurements to make sure that everything's as consistent as possible.
A lot is at stake. An estimated $12 million is wagered daily at Del Mar. And while average daily attendance has fallen from nearly 20,000 in the 1980s to about 13,000 now, on opening day tomorrow, more than 40,000 people are expected to fill the stands.
It's time for us to get off the track.
Alison St John, KPBS News.